melanated.com, the network for melanated people like you. Welcome into the Lioness Den. I wanted to come on and wish you all a happy Monday. Yeah, so basically, what had happened was Donald J. Trump, former US president, aka the Antichrist, was acquitted. All right. His impeachment trial was acquitted for the second time. This is really interesting. This is really interesting because, as we can see, his base is being emboldened by this. So we're going to get into that. I want to welcome everybody into the Lioness Den today. Y'all already know we're here weekdays, normally at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Fly Nubian Queen TV.com, which is the YouTube channel for Fly Nubian Queen Network. Please check out all of the queens by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, like and share this broadcast. Also go over to our Facebook page, flynubianqueen.com on Facebook, and we are also on iTunes. Yes, come in and hit the like button. I see y'all coming into the Lioness Den. So listen, excuse me, who was crying? Who, and don't lie either, who shed a tear? Who low-key shed a tear because y'all were so shocked and awed and sad that, you know, this impeachment proceeding did not go in the direction of like really convicting Donald Trump or condemning him or preventing him from running for office again in 2024. Let me know if y'all was crying, and don't lie about it either. Just keep it 100. We're in the Lioness Den. We're family, right? Just kind of keep it 100. Wait, why does this say my second impeachment acquittal? Oh, no. That title needs to be changed. Let me see what that title is about, but we'll have somebody come in. I wasn't acquitted of anything. I wasn't on trial for nothing. This is Donald J. Trump, the Antichrist. So some of y'all was crying. So Willie DeHoward says, unbelievable. Darlene X says, I knew they would not impeach Trump. Same here. I don't know. Yeah, okay. So Yisrella is laughing. Listen, a lot of people were like all bent out of shape. And I asked y'all who shed a tear because some people was actually like crying. Like some people were really, really upset. Hold on, let me reach out to somebody right quick. Yeah, some people were upset. I was looking on social media. I have not been on social media as much because I have like a lot of other things to do. But some people were really upset, and a lot of elderly people, like baby boomers, like, oh my God, you know, and I was one of those people. I'm like, listen, yes, I'm with LeVar. Didn't even care. Did not even care. But y'all come on into the Lioness Den. We're gonna have a conversation about this. I want to talk about how the news is covering it. And then what's next? You know, Donald J. Trump did say, he made a statement in response to him being acquitted for the second time, by the way. He made a statement saying that the MAGA movement is just getting started, right? He said they're just beginning. And he also echoed those same words or the same sentiment. And I'm kind of like paraphrasing, but he said something to the effect on January the 6th, the day of the attempted coup and insurrection, right? The riot that I believe he incited with his base in the attack on the US Capitol by white supremacist domestic terrorists. Yes, I'm being very specific in my language today. I do believe that, I do recall rather that him stating something like that their movement is just beginning, like this is just the beginning. And so he said something else to that effect over the weekend. So we're going to come in, we're going to talk about it. Darlene X is still clueless. Yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. A lot of the elderly folk, a lot of people who are staunch Democrats have a lot to say, and they feel disheartened. And quite frankly, listen, this is where I stand on this whole thing. The Senate knew that if they were to actually impeach Donald Trump, it will open up so much more. And many of people who are in Congress, in the House of Representatives, and also in the Senate, in my opinion, who have been complicit in this whole thing, they would be in trouble as well. And so there will be like all types of indictments and things coming down the pipe. And I feel like they knew that because like the amount of like people who participated in the coordination of the attempted coup and the assault on the US government, I mean, the rabbit hole goes really, really deep. And they knew that like it would, in my opinion, tear the country apart. It would tear the government apart. You know, the Civil War, it will be civil war on a whole nother level. And so that's what I feel like. And it was kind of like CYA. They were covering, you know, CYA means cover your ASS. They were just basically covering their ASSs. Now, the other thing too is that this does not mean that Trump cannot, you know, be like undergo legal proceedings by the federal government, right? So there are other lawsuits that could take place. But in terms of the whole Senate impeachment situation, go back a few weeks before this broadcast, a few weeks ago, I definitely did cover like what's the point in impeaching a former US president. What they were trying to do was really prevent Donald J. Trump from running for office again in 2024. Now, let me tell y'all this, as y'all coming into the Lioness Den, before I do anything else, I do have to make mention of the fact that since his impeachment, acquittal, the second time over the weekend, there were so many rooms on Clubhouse talking about it. If y'all don't know, this app Clubhouse is an audio-based like audio chat app. And so they had these different rooms. I actually ended up in one of those rooms about Trump's impeachment because they were talking about Black businesses. And then it was like a lot of people talking about why Black businesses aren't successful and how they're going to try to go out and outsource, you know, jobs and things and try to get resources, of course, from abroad, mainly Africa. Somebody said they wanted to set up a call center and hire, you know, people in West Africa to really work it. And then there were people like me, which is like, some of y'all are just off code. We need to build a strong FBA economic base. Many of our people are unemployed, so yada, yada, yada. So it was a really interesting conversation that came up in one of those rooms about Trump impeachment. But why am I mentioning this? Shout out to Bass Reamer. Thank you so much, Bass Reamer, for your generous contribution to Finding Being Queen. You said Dems only push for impeachment because they know despite being Trump, he can win in 2024. Biden, the segregationist, is weak. Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Thank you for your super chat and for your contribution to Finding Being Queen. Look, I'm bringing up the fact that there were all of these rooms on Clubhouse talking about the second Trump impeachment because there are a lot of people who are really excited that he was acquitted in this impeachment proceeding so that he can run in 2024, so that he can overtake, you know, the Democratic Biden, you know, White House. And there were a lot of Black folk who are really excited about it. A lot of Black folk who are like, you know what, we can't stand Joe Biden. Trump is actually the lesser of two evils. Trump is fighting against globalization, yada, 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 and all this stuff. We were better off with Trump in the White House than Biden. Biden is going to do all of these things with the shot. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Biden is going to do all of these things for the LGBTQIA plus community. Biden is going to do all of these things for undocumented immigrants and for some documented immigrants. Biden is going to do all of these things for the Asian American community and every single community, right, to further malign us. And therefore, we were better under a Donald Trump administration. A lot of Black folk do believe that. And there were so many Black conservative rooms that popped up over the weekend in Clubhouse. And I was just maybe on Friday for like a hot second. I was like, oh, there's some toxic things going on, right? And then I went in on Saturday night. That's when I kind of like went off in the room. Yep, I sure did. They had to mute my mic, but it's all good. So I said what I had to say then. And then when I popped in to Clubhouse yesterday morning, literally for like 15 minutes, I reached out to my sister, Kenya Brown, who I've had on the Lioness Den for a couple segments. But it seemed that Black folk were having a legit identity crisis. I don't know what had transpired between Saturday night or something in relation to this Trump impeachment acquittal. But then by Sunday morning, there were all of these rooms and Black people were going back and forth about identity, like having an identity crisis. Well, it wasn't like a FBA ADOS type thing. This was are Black people in America, are we African or are we indigenous? And what does it mean to be Black, et cetera, et cetera. My locks are doing their own thing today. I'm about to go work out. So I found that to be really interesting. And then they kept talking about impeachment. So basically, long story short, my general observation is that Trump's acquittal happened for a reason. No, we should not be surprised. We should not be taken off kilter. We still have our own work to do. Whether he was not acquitted or whatever, it still does not bring us any closer to liberation as Black people in this country, right? That's one thing. The second thing is that the media is doing its job Also by furthering the divide. I feel like there's a lot of divisiveness and there's a lot of like rhetoric that continues to happen. And it's like a lot of media manipulation. And a part of that manipulation is controlling the emotions of the masses. And so people are really triggered and in their feelings. All right. So LeVar Price says, there's shout out to you. Thank you for your generous contribution to Fly Nubian Queen. I'm going to read your comment. It says, there soon are going to be more immigrants than Black Americans. We literally are both around 13%, 44 million immigrants. Well, there's a lot to be said about immigration, right? And remember, people who are Black skinned, richly melanated people coming from different parts of the diaspora are really a minority when we're talking about immigration. Like, they make it damn near impossible for folks from the Caribbean, South America, and Africa who are Black to get into the country in general. Is my brother in the house? Yo, Great Black Shark is in the house. Bruh, if you want to chime in, I am going to take my phone off of Do Not Disturb, and you can call on my phone, but you're welcome into the Lioness Den anytime. Everyone give our brother Great Black Shark a shout out. Go over to his YouTube channel and subscribe to him. He's also on IG and he's also on Twitter. And this is a brother who came into the Lioness Den the other week, and we talked about the police officer, the Black law enforcement officer out of Louisiana, who unfortunately took his own life, and how we contextualized it from a B1 standpoint, right? So shout out to our brother, Great Black Shark. So there's a lot happening basically, and so many things that we need to talk about. We're gonna get into all of those things today. Wanted to send out a quick reminder that my course launches this week. We're going to start on this Wednesday, February 17th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Go over to flynubianpower.com. That's flynubianpower.com, and sign up for my course, Unapologetic Black Power with Lioness Crown. A lot of folks have signed up already. I want to shout out everyone who has signed up, who's ready to get this work in. We are going to be talking about replacing a system of anti-Black racism and white supremacy with a system of justice in all 9 areas of people activity. We're going to lean heavily on the teachings of Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., right? But his work really isn't about learning information. It's about application. It's about practicing new patterns of thought, new patterns of speech, and new patterns of action, right? To attain compensatory justice. What does all of that mean? So we're going to start off on Wednesday. And each week, I mean, there's definitely going to be a topic and a theme. I'm going to add those over into Teachable as soon as I get off, but each week we'll also have a mantra. We were going to be talking about Black empowerment, true Black empowerment, in a way and in context in which we can't do on these social media streets, because there's a lot that needs to be said. And we're going to approach it from a scholarly standpoint, and class is going to be very, very interactive. So I'm going to be facilitating it very, very well. There will be homework, there will be readings, there will be lots of information. We need to know who our foundational Black scholars are. We talk about Black empowerment and Black empowerment ideology. So go over to flynubianpower.com. That's flynubianpower.com to grab your seat in our virtual class. Do that. I'm gonna put it right in the chat again, and I'm going to pin it. So let me go ahead and take care of some more housekeeping. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. All right, so without further ado, I was going to share my screen, but I'm not going to do that. It's not necessary, but I am going to play this audio, and this audio is from CNN.com. Take a listen. It's called Senate Acquits Donald Trump of Inciting the Capitol Riot. As I'm playing this, I want you to type your reactions and your thoughts about this acquittal. I want you to type it into the comment section, and then I'm going to show some headlines. Here we go.
Donald Trump has escaped conviction by the U.S. Senate.
It is therefore ordered and adjudged that
for a second time, Donald Trump has escaped conviction by the U.S. Senate.
it is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby acquitted of the charge in said article.
The final vote capped off a dramatic and unpredictable day where House impeachment managers initially announced plans to call witnesses in the trial of the former president.
We would like the opportunity to subpoena Congresswoman Herrera regarding her communications with House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy.
Calling witnesses would have most likely sent the trial in a dramatically different direction, leading to a much longer affair. After hours of negotiations, the two sides agreed to submit into the record a statement from Republican Congresswoman Jamie Herrera Butler, which detailed a phone call from Trump to House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy on January 6th, where Trump told McCarthy the rioters cared more about election fraud than McCarthy. Impeachment managers decided to call her as a witness following a CNN report on the call Friday.
The point is that no number of witnesses demonstrating that Donald Trump continued to incite the insurrectionists even after the invasion of the Capitol would convince them. They wouldn't be convinced.
With witnesses off the table, the two sides presented their closing arguments. The prosecution arguing that the evidence made it clear the riot was incited by the former president.
He named the date, he named the time, and he brought them here, and now he must pay the price.
And the Trump defense warning the...
And y'all can't hold him accountable though. Like, how does this happen? Yeah, you can bitch, you can moan, you can complain, and you can cry. And guess what? Everybody in government at this point is complicit with this BS. Y'all trying to blame it on, I mean, listen, we can look at we definitely the white domestic terrorists, white supremacist domestic terrorists are not off the hook. But let's be clear that many of them are also in government. Clearly, they're in law enforcement. Clearly, they're in the military, but they're also in the House of Representatives, and they're also in the Senate, and they're also on code. So when I hear this, I'm kind of like, well, what are y'all pretending not to know? What are y'all pretending not to know? And not only of that, y'all are all complicit in this foolishness. Y'all knew, y'all listen, let me go ahead and press play again. Shout out to everyone in the line is now. I want everyone to hit the like button and share this broadcast.
Incited by the former president.
He named the date, he named the time, and he brought them here, and now he must pay the price.
And
y'all did nothing to prevent it. That part, you did nothing to prevent it. This was like, I don't know. To me, smoke and mirrors. This is just a damn mess. Hey, Mickey Brick, shout out to you. B1.
Defense warning the constitutional questions of convicting a former president were impossible to ignore.
This has been perhaps the most unfair and flagrantly unconstitutional proceeding in the history of the United States Senate.
When the votes were cast, 7 Republicans joined Democrats and voted to convict Trump, but fell short of the 2/3 majority necessary. Richard Burr of North Carolina and Bill Cassidy of Louisiana voted to convict. Despite earlier voting, the trial was unconstitutional. After it was all over, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, who voted to acquit, hammered Trump's actions, saying he was responsible for the riot and even suggested he could be tried in a criminal court.
Didn't get away with anything yet.
First of all, Mitch the bitch McConnell. Yes, I'm cursing today, y'all. I don't care. I don't care. He just looked like a sad old tortoise. But anyway, let's listen to what he got to say. Shout out to everyone in the Lioness Den.
Court.
Didn't get away with anything yet. Yet. We have a criminal justice system in this country. We have civil litigation. And former presidents are not immune from being accountable by either one.
But Majority Leader Chuck Schumer argued the Republicans were using the constitutional argument as a cop-out. In his mind, the evidence was more than enough to convict.
Look at what Republicans have chosen to forgive. The former president tried to overturn the results of a legitimate election and provoked an assault on our own government.
Well, that happened. That happened, right? So I'm looking in the chat. I see your comments. A lot of you all are saying you are not one bit surprised that this took place. Okay. Well, the next thing I want to do is I'm actually going to share my screen. I'm just going to pause
So-
this. I'm going to play another audio in just a moment, but I am going to share my screen because I want us to take a look at some of these headlines that are happening. Let me just pause this right quick. Okay. Shout out to everyone who's in the Lioness Den. Be sure to text the word Queens to 31996. That's Queens with an S to 31996. That way you'll be notified when we do go live. All right. It says Trump's acquittal marks a dark day for U.S. democracy. The fact that they're using the word dark in this context is very, very anti-Black, and we'll be exploring how insidious anti-Black racism is, even with our language, and how we've accepted these negative associations with the word Black or darkness. Anyway, I digress. So this is from theguardian.com. I'm going to make sure I put this in the comments. Trump's acquittal marks a dark day for U.S. democracy. I'm sorry, I have to laugh because it's actually like low-key funny to me at this point. It's like political theater. The deepest problem affecting the progress and development of democracy is the crippling dominance of party-first politics. Senate Republicans stand by their man, and Trump wins his second acquittal 13th of February. It restricts the power of politicians to act in the best interest of their countries and their people. Interestingly, this article in the first sentence, right, states that the deepest problem affecting the progress and development of democracy in this country is politics, is just like this two-party system. And I don't believe that's true. The deepest problem affecting the progress and development of democracy in this country and in the world is white supremacy and domestic terrorism, that part. But anyway, I digress. The article goes on to read, the clear illusion of power of party politics has been the trial of Donald Trump. Before the trial began and ahead of any formal evidence being heard, the base of the Republican Party had already decided the outcome. Thus, the verdict of one of the most politically important trials in history was given based on party dogma and not on the evidence, nor in the interest of the country. It says countries around the world with similarly blinkered party systems will also be rejuvenated. This will be embraced by the Victorian era entrenched Conservative Party in the UK, which will be enabled to continue and extend its oligarchic rule, which is swiftly becoming kakistocracy. I have to look that word up. It says party politics should reflect the will of an ever-changing society. It has, however, become the greatest barrier in progress to fairness. That's a lie, y'all. That's a lie. Nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope. The greatest barrier to progress and fairness in this country and in the world, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, India, South Africa, to Guatemala, to Spain, to Canada, to New Zealand is white supremacy, period. But anyway, the media wants you to believe, they want you to believe that it's about Democrats and Republicans. It's about those bad Republicans, those bad conservatives over there. That's BS. That is not true. Those are not facts. The biggest barrier to humanity, equity, equality, freedom, justice, everything in the world, the biggest obstacle and barrier to that is white supremacy. So what we witnessed within the second acquittal of Donald J. Trump for inciting a riot, right? And all of this stuff, and all of these white supremacists, suspected white supremacists and race soldiers who were complicit and participated in it on camera with all the evidence and with receipts, a lot of them getting slaps on the wrist or getting off, not being convicted. The fact that Kyle Rittenhouse went MIA and a judge refused to issue a second search warrant, and all of these things is because of the global prison system of white supremacy, racism, period. So do not, yes, Darlene X, the whole world, do not believe for a second that the biggest enemy right now is the Republican Party or the GOP. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about here. But I wanted to read the intro of that, the first few parts of that article from The Guardian, and y'all can go ahead and form your own opinion and look at that later and finish reading that, okay? And finish reading that. Now, Here's another one. Everyone hit the like button. You're in the Lioness Den, weekdays, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Normally, FlyNubianQueenTV.com, the network for melanated women and men like you who are on code and who are B1. Now, AP News, which is the Associated Press. This is the headline. Support grows for Capitol riot inquiry after Trump acquittal. This was written today, right? He mad as hell, this dude in the middle. I forget his name, but he mad. But I mean, hey, listen, it says Washington Associated Press. After former President Donald Trump's acquittal at his second Senate impeachment trial, bipartisan support appears to be growing for an independent September 11th style commission into the deadly insurrection that took place at the U.S. Capitol. Investigations into the riot were already planned, with Senate hearings scheduled after this month. In the Senate Rules Committee, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, Democrat of California, asked retired Army Lieutenant General Russell Honore to lead an immediate review of the Capitol's security process. Do y'all know how much money and time this stuff is going to take for them to run around in circles? You know what I'm saying? Like, clearly, for some reason, this dude, Donald Trump, and his base, these white supremacists have been insulated. They do whatever they do with impunity. Impunity. And I'm not saying that I don't want to see people get punished, but let's see how long it takes, or if it happens, or how expensive the process is going to be. They literally let white supremacists who went into the Capitol, who defecated, urinated, threatened, fought Capitol officers, Capitol police officers on the inside and the outside, vandalized, took property. Hold on, let me unshare my screen. Vandalized on the inside, took property, took Nancy Pelosi's computer, allegedly tried to sell it to Russia, took photographs of people, representatives' documents, right? National security style type caliber intelligence, took photos, did whatever the hell they wanted, were allowed to walk into many parts of the Capitol. They let a lot of these people walk. So you want to make it make sense to me what type of justice or consequences y'all really believe are going to be delved out in a situation. Please tell me. Please tell me. So I'm going to go ahead and finish reading this from the Associated Press. It says lawmakers from both parties speaking on Sunday's news show signaled that even more inquiries were likely. The Senate verdict Saturday, with its 57-43 majority, falling 10 votes short of the 2/3 needed to convict Trump, hardly put to rest the debate about the Republican former president's culpability for the January 6th assault, right? So the vote was 57-43 majority, but it fell short of 10 votes. In the Senate, remember, we talked about this weeks ago in the Lioness Den. They needed 2/3 to convict Trump in the Senate. Quote, there should be a complete investigation about what happened, end quote, said Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy, one of the 7 Republicans who voted to convict Trump. Quote, what was known, who knew it, and when they knew, all that, because that builds the basis so this never happens again, end quote. Let me tell y'all something. This is the wealthiest, most powerful government and nation on the planet. They got satellites in the sky that can literally zoom in to see what your license plate number is, or if you have gum stuck to the bottom of your damn shoe. They legit have technology that if you're in a building, like if you're in a brick house or a brick building, they can like point it on your property to see who's inside and where you're moving based off of infrared technology or your body temperature. They legit have cell phone towers and microphones all over the damn place and in these streets, especially in the District of Columbia. Cell phone companies, encrypted cybersecurity type stuff on these computers, emails, devices, tablets, cell phones, etc. of these representatives. They know exactly who knew what and when, how this was being plotted, and all of that. right? So I just find this to be really interesting. We need an investigation. We need a 911 commission. Listen, those who know. Those who know, they definitely damn know. So y'all can go and read that from the AP. Read it at your own risk or your own leisure or whatever. Now, the next thing I found that I wanted to share with y'all, and shout out to everyone who's in the Lioness Den. This is your sister, Lioness Crowned, your revolutionary, unapologetically Black host, right here at flynubianqueen.com, the network for melanated people like you. Now, wouldn't normally do this, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because remember, we're looking at how this is playing out in the media. This is from bossup.com, y'all. I know. Hey, consistency positive. I know. It's from bossup.com. They're so damn dramatic. Anyway, the title, SMFH. If you don't know what that means, it means shaking my effing head. Trump acquitted in second impeachment trial, triumphantly says MAGA movement has just begun. This was from yesterday, February the 14th, 2021. All these damn pop-ups, they be blowing me. All right, it says, I think the first thing says like, we're not surprised, but still disgusted. Once again, Trump's getting off scot-free, although Democrats argue the obvious that the oxidized orange juice out of office. And see, this is why I can't read from them, because it's just like so extra and it's nasty and it's petty and it's like, it's moist for no reason. Like reading from bossup.com, I promise you, that's why I just be like, it makes me cringe. But anyway, it says, once again, Trump's getting off scot-free, although Democrats argue the obvious that oxidized orange juice out of office incited the Capitol insurrection. The Senate voted 57-43 to acquit the former president. Okay. Not shockingly, only 7 Republicans, Richard Burr, Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Mitt Romney, Ben Sasse, and Pat Toomey voted to convict. Right. And then it shows a tweet from ABC News with those stats. 57 said guilty in the Senate and 43 said not guilty. But remember, y'all, the vote in the Senate fell 10 votes short of conviction. Right. So it shows that tweet in this article. I'm going to share my screen. It says, prior to the vote, House impeachment managers said they'd be seeking witnesses and wanted to subpoena Representative Jamie Herrera Butler, a House Republican who revealed a conversation between House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy and Trump that happened while MAGAs were storming the Capitol. Butler alleged that McCartney asked Trump to publicly, quote, call off the riot, end quote, and told him that the mob was made up of Trump's Dorito devotees, not members of Antifa. Duh. Literally, that's what it said. I didn't say that. That's how like petty, and I just think that like the low level, like catty energy and the reporting on websites like Bossup, they just be doing too much for me, but that's just me. I don't know, but I'm just reading from this to show how the media is talking about Trump's impeachment, right? From CNN, you heard a soundbite, and then we went over to The Guardian, and this is a different type of media on Bossup. It says subpoenaing Representative Butler could have prolonged the trial for days or weeks, and Trump's lawyer, Michael Van Der Veen, responded that if Democrats were going to ask for witnesses, Trump's team was going to need 100 depositions. Ultimately, Dems backed off of calling witnesses, and in a compromise, House managers and Trump's legal agreed to assert the statement of Rep. Herrera into the trial record rather than taking a deposition. It says, after the vote to acquit, Trump released a statement and called his second impeachment trial, quote, another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country, end quote. He also triumphantly told his MAGAs, they say his MAGAs. Anyway, it says that he triumphantly told his MAGAs that this was just the beginning, right? As I stated. So this is what is stated, quote, Our historic, patriotic, and beautiful movement to make America great again has only just begun. In the months ahead, I have to share with you, and I look forward to continuing our incredible journey together to achieve American greatness for all of our people. There has never been anything like it, exclamation point. Quote, we have so much work ahead of us, and soon we will emerge with a vision for a bright, radiant, and limitless American future, end quote. That's what Trump said, y'all. That's what Trump said. So what y'all think? Look, maybe I should open it up on Twitter, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to share my screen. Shout out to everyone in the line is then. Take a look at this right quick. Right? This is a statement from former President Trump after acquittal. Quote, this has been yet another phase in the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. No president has ever gone through anything like it. Take a moment to look at this. Take a moment to look at this. So, shall I read it or nah? Y'all want to hear it or nah? Brother Rob said Trump going to jail. Randolph said stubborn. Wow. Somebody said Democrats wear blue MAGA hats. Interesting. Everyone hit the like button. Statement by Donald J. Trump. Let me see. Okay, it says, I want to first thank my team of dedicated lawyers and others for their tireless work upholding justice and defending truth. My deepest thanks as well to all of the United States senators and members of Congress who stood proudly for the Constitution we all revere and for the Constitution we all revere and for the sacred legal principles at the heart of our country. It says, our cherished constitutional republic was founded on the impartial rule of law, the indispensable safeguard to our liberties, our rights, and our freedoms. It says, it is a sad commentary on our times. I'm sorry, this is really small, y'all. Let me make it bigger because I can't even hardly see. What happened? Where'd it go? It's right here. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Shout out to everyone in the line is in. Shout out to y'all. What's Twitter trying to do? It's faking. Twitter faking on me, y'all. Hold on. Let's see if we can get this thing bigger. Did they take it down? Oh, they didn't take it down. I was about to say. All right, here we go. Y'all hit the like button and share this broadcast. I'm actually having fun with this today because I'm not shocked one bit. Bam, bam, bam. See, I'm a beast. All right, look. Now, I'm right here. It says, it is a sad commentary on our times that one political party in America is given a free pass to denigrate the rule of law, defame law enforcement, cheer mobs, excuse rioters, and transform justice into a tool of political vengeance and persecute, blacklist, that's more anti-Black rhetoric language, y'all, in the English language, but anyway, and persecute, blacklist, and cancel and suppress all people and viewpoints with whom or which they disagree. I always have and always will be a champion for the unwavering rule of law, the heroes of law enforcement, and the right of Americans to peacefully and honorably debate the issues of the day without malice and without hate. This has been yet another phase of the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. No president has ever gone through anything like it, and it continues because our opponents cannot forget the almost 75 million people, the highest number ever for a sitting president, who voted for us just a few short months ago. I also want to convey my gratitude to the millions of decent, hardworking, law-abiding, God and country-loving citizens who have bravely supported these important principles in these very difficult and challenging times. Our historic, patriotic, and beautiful movement to make America great again has only just begun. In the months ahead, I have much to share with you, and I look forward to continuing our incredible journey together to achieve American greatness for all of our people. There has never been anything like it! Exclamation point. It says, we have so much work ahead of us, and soon we will emerge with a vision for a bright, radiant, and limitless American future. Together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. We will remain one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God, and it's our responsibility to preserve this magnificent inheritance for our children and for our generations of Americans to come. Yeah, that gives me pause, and I'm gonna tell y'all why after I read this last sentence. May God bless all of you, and may God forever bless the United States of America. Did y'all catch this second to last line? I'm gonna read it again. Y'all tell me why I'm rereading this. Great Black Shark, Solo Dolo, shout out to y'all. Tell me why I'm rereading this last statement. Down here, we remain one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God, and it's our responsibility to preserve this magnificent inheritance of for our children and for generations of Americans to come. Hold up. Who is he talking to, and what is he talking about? Here we go. We remain one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God, and it's our responsibility to preserve this magnificent inheritance for our people, for our children rather, and for generations of Americans to come. Inheritance for our children and for generations of Americans to come. What inheritance is he talking about, y'all? What inheritance is he talking about? And what was one of the founding ideologies of America by the colonizer? Begins with the M. 2 words, M and a D. What is it? What is it? A M and a D. What is it? Nope. Somebody said, oh boy, all Americans. Great Black Shark says, it's white supremacist dog whistle language. Remember the 14 words of white supremacy? But what are the 2 words that I'm talking about? He's talking about an inheritance from God that they need to preserve. Yes, it is our, exactly. Thank you, Solo Dolo. Thank you. What is it? Seer 8, boy 18. Yes, manifest destiny. Manifest destiny. That is what he's talking about. They are preserving manifest destiny, the right for the colonizer, for these white people to, they believe that it was their God-given right, their God-given duty to colonize, conquer, kill, and take over this land because God wanted them to. Exactly. Yes, a madman. Right. Right. Yes. So that is what that's what he's talking about, though. So of course, people are all up in a tizzy, in an uproar. But it's like, what are you pretending not to know? This is the same Donald J. Trump who has been doing what he's been doing. Now, this is a more in-depth definition of manifest destiny. And shout out to everyone in the Lioness Den. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're here normally 12 p.m. Eastern time. FlyNubianQueenTV.com, FlyNubianQueenTV.com. Okay. So, manifest destiny, Wikipedia. It says manifest destiny was a widely held cultural belief in the 19th century United States that American settlers were destined to expand across North America. There are 3 basic themes to manifest destiny: the special virtues of the American people and their institutions. Okay. So the 3 reasons for manifest destiny and the 3 themes are the special virtues of the American people and their institutions, the mission of the United States to redeem and remake the West in the image of the great agrarian East, and irresistible destiny to accomplish this essential duty. Okay. Now, John O'Sullivan was the one who coined the term manifest destiny in an 1845 newspaper article, right, where he described the ideology of continental expansionism. Though the term was new, the ideas underlying it were much older, dating back to the first colonial contact between Europeans and Native Americans, our indigenous ancestors on this land. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out. And so, yeah, Trump is definitely saying what he got to say, right? And I am not one bit surprised that he was acquitted for a second time. Now, the other thing I want to play is this clip really quickly. How, you know, this particular lady, I don't really care for her for very specific reasons, but whatever. We're gonna watch this clip really quickly. It's a 2-minute clip, and it's from CNN.com. Shout out to everyone in the Lioness Den. Take a moment to like and share this broadcast. All right. Now, this is Representative Plaskett. We didn't need more witnesses. We needed more senators with spines. This is from CNN. Take a listen. She's the impeachment manager, Stacy Plaskett. Yes. I'll save my commentary until after. Here we go.
So 57 to convict, 43 to acquit, but Donald Trump basically walked. What's your reaction?
Heartbreaking for those of us who put, and not just the impeachment managers, but for the staff, professionals just working around the clock, as well as the American people. It's frustrating, but the founders knew what they were doing. And so we live with the system that we have. But thankfully, it was bipartisan. The greatest majority voting to convict a president, as well as the American people seeing truly who Donald Trump was.
You and your fellow House impeachment managers wanted to call Republican Congresswoman Herrera Butler from Washington State as a witness to describe Kevin McCarthy's call with Trump, in which the president effectively sided with the terrorists while the attack was going on. Take a listen. This is what she told a town hall.
He said, well, Kevin, these aren't my people. You know, these are Antifa. And Kevin responded and said, no, they're your people. You need to call them off. And the president's response to Kevin, to me, was chilling. He said, well, Kevin, I guess they're just more upset about the election, theft than you are.
I mean, siding with the terrorists while they were attacking the Capitol. You also wanted to subpoena her notes of that call. But ultimately, Democrats did neither of those things and accepted the public statement she made. Why did you back down?
I think we didn't back down. I think what we did was we got what we wanted, which was her statement, which was what she said, and had it put into the record.
Okay.
And being able to say it on the record out loud so that others would hear. Just so the American public is aware, witnesses in a Senate hearing do not come and stand before the senators and make any statements. It's a deposition, it's videotaped, and that is brought before the Senate. So I know that people are feeling a lot of angst and believe that maybe if we had this, the senators would have done what we wanted. But listen, we didn't need more witnesses. We needed more senators with spines.
Okay, so that is Representative Plaskett. Let me go ahead and unshare my screen and make sure I mute this. So you heard from her. I don't know. I think it's a bit but anyway, she's on there explaining. She looked a little scared and timid. Why do I say that? I say that because I've actually met her in real life. All right, so Stacy Elizabeth Plaskett is an American politician, attorney, and commentator. She is a delegate to the United States House of Representatives from the U.S. Virgin Islands at-large congressional district and is a member of the Democratic Party. She's 54 years old, and she was born in Brooklyn, New York. Her nationality is American, but her parents are from the Virgin Islands. And I've had the, I don't know if I would say pleasure, I probably had the displeasure of seeing her in person and hearing her speak in person to a group of Black constituents. This was a couple years ago. I went to this like town hall with members of the Black caucus who came to Brooklyn to talk about, what were they talking about? They were talking about something with the Black Caucus, but I went with brothers and sisters from December 12th movement. Shout out to them. And we wanted to talk about sanctions on Zimbabwe and some other, issues and like topics, during the Q&A. And I remember Representative Plaskett standing up and speaking very, very negatively, like with hostility and like, well, you all need to ask a question. This is before anybody even said anything. Ask a question and ask it right. She was just basically talking down to Black constituents, right? Just talking down to the folks like she was better. She was exalting herself. She was really, really nasty. But when she was on, CNN, and I see her talking to these white folks, she's very, very docile. She's very, very soft-spoken. And I remember her speaking and going on and on about like how her father was a police officer and she believes in law and order and the government. And she's proud to serve and represent the U.S. Virgin Islands and all this extra stuff. And when she came back to Brooklyn and she spoke to Black constituents, many of whom who are also Caribbean, there was this air about her that my spirit didn't take to. And so right now, I think it's funny that she's the let's call her a failed impeachment manager of the second impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump. Yeah, she's the failed impeachment manager. And I see the way she sits on TV and talks to white folks and enunciates every single word, and she's all prim and proper and like really nice and docile. But I've seen her be a real ass and real nasty to Black people in person. So I just have to put that out there. So she's watching, she can see it. She can see it. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting that this failed impeachment manager was just on there explaining. I thought it was funny. So they're going to be explaining, they're going to be in their feelings, and it's going to go on and on and on. But those of us who are unbothered, if you're unbothered by this, shout out to Jerry. If you're unbothered, go ahead and type in unbothered. Go ahead and type in unbothered in the comments, right? So that had happened. And then also what had happened was, and this is a different story. I'm pivoting a little bit before I end today's segment because I got things to do and people to see. And I got to get my workout on. This is from TMZ. This came out yesterday. President Biden, woman arrested near White House with a loaded gun in her car and a letter for 46. Biden. Did y'all know about this? A woman was arrested near the White House after reportedly telling cops she had a special delivery for President Biden, a handwritten letter, but much more ominous is that she had a loaded handgun in her car. The unidentified 66-year-old rode towards a checkpoint. Was she white? I wonder. The unidentified 66-year-old rode towards a checkpoint in downtown DC Saturday evening, close to the White House, which has a wide perimeter set for blocks on end. She was apparently with a man and told cops they were there to meet Biden. Shout out to everyone who was unbothered in the chat. As for why, cops say she told them she wanted to give him a letter that prompted a search of the vehicle where DC Metro says they discovered a loaded handgun. They claimed the man she was with also had a BB gun, but the woman was the only one arrested. So how they going to only arrest her? He also had a BB gun. And quite frankly, if she had a loaded gun, yada, 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 how is it that she walked away with her life or got, locked up? Now, if she was Black, she would have gotten shot on sight. We already know that. Right? As for why, I'm going to read this. As for why, cops say she told them she wanted to give him a letter that prompted a search of the vehicle where DC Metro says they discovered a loaded handgun. They claimed the man she was with also had a BB gun, but the woman was the only one arrested. The hell? What in the hell? She was booked for possession of an unregistered firearm. The case has since been referred to the Secret Service. The situation is eerily familiar. There was another arrest like this back in January when a Virginia man also drove up to a checkpoint allegedly with a fake inauguration credentials and a loaded firearm as well, plus a ton of ammo, according to cops. Look how they treat these little domestic terrorists, y'all, with kid gloves. Just a day later, a woman was arrested. That was also in January. Just a day later, a woman was arrested under similar circumstances, coming up to a checkpoint and trying to pass herself as a member of Biden's cabinet. She got busted too. The National Guard's been in town since January the 6th and are set to stay there for a few more weeks. Probably a good idea. So that happened. That happened. That happened. We just talked about the failed impeachment manager for Trump's second impeachment trial. At the same damn time, Trump is talking about manifest destiny and sending out dog whistles to his white supremacist domestic terrorist base. And on top of that, a woman was arrested near the White House with a loaded gun in her car and a letter for Joe Crime Bill Biden, 46th president of the United States of America. I call him Lucifer. We also know him very, very well and notoriously as Joe Crime Bill Biden. So all of those things happening at the same damn time, y'all, at the same damn time. So this is going to conclude our coverage today in the Lioness Den. So many things to look out for, so many things to watch out for, so many things to pay attention to. Shout out to y'all for coming into the Lioness Den. We got started a little bit late today, but we're here. We're here, and we will be here tomorrow. We're going to be here tomorrow with our brother, Kareem Johnson. We will start, I'm thinking we're going to start between 11:45 a.m. Eastern time and 12 p.m. Eastern time because I want more time. We are going to talk about the new movie about Fred Hampton, Judas and the Black Messiah. So I want y'all to watch the film tonight. It is streaming on HBO Max. That's the only place you can watch it. I want y'all to come into the Lioness Den. Be ready, be ready, be ready. Make sure you hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you text the word Queens to 31996. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sumo Blackberry, thank you. Come into the Lioness Den tomorrow. Be here a little bit early. We want to take our time. My calendar for tomorrow is a bit booked. That's why I kind of want to come in a little bit early so we can make sure we give it enough time, right? So make sure you come into the Lioness Den. We want to take our time. It'll probably be a 90-minute broadcast or so. But make sure you watch the film Judas and the Black Messiah. Watch it tonight. Come in tomorrow with questions. I want y'all to put your questions and start talking about stuff in the chat. I may have on another special guest, but for now it's just going to be me and Brother Kareem. I can probably make some phone calls and bring somebody in, but it'll probably just be the two of us. But we want to take our time, so make sure you watch the film. All right, y'all. I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you go over to flynubianpower.com. That's flynubianpower.com. Sign up for our 8-week course. It launches this week on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Go over and grab your seat to our virtual class. We're going to go all the way in. Shout out to everybody who has signed up this far. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. I promise you. We can't talk about everything on these airwaves, on these internet streets, right? On social media. So y'all need to sign up for Unapologetic Black Power with Lioness Crown. We're talking about all things. We're talking about all things Black empowerment. All right. So this broadcast is ending with so is global racism and white supremacy. We will trample this beast through fortitude, preparedness, and collectivism. And always remember that they stole us. They sold us. So they owe us. Until next time, family, peace and Black power.